Well, today's Saturday. It's a weekend. I thought maybe I'd get on here and talk to some of you a little bit. I seen an article this morning. It was kind of a article that said the getting to between 70s and 80s, the ripe old age. How do you get there, and what made it possible? Things like that. Had to do with being happy with your station in life. If you're a happy person, you get to live longer, less stress on your body, stuff like that. Having a lifetime partner, or life partner is actually the way it's put, which I do have. You know, my wife and I have been married, be 62 years there pretty quick. We met each other when we were teens in high school, and we were high school sweethearts. It happened to work out very fine. We had 4 children to keep us busy in our youth. In my early years, I'd been able to entertain owning a few businesses that I built, and foolishness made me have to give up those businesses in the very early 80s. I went to work for a German company, and it was lucrative. Worked my way in. I was a engineer, a walk-down engineer for him, and worked my way up into vice president of operations. It was a large company, and in my 40s, I decided to change careers, strap my tools back on, and go out and earn a living in a different manner. One that was a lot easier. It was harder on me physically and easier on me mentally. The company I worked for at the time had given me a lifetime job if I wanted it. But the stock market had taken a dump when I left the corporate life. And I really wasn't too sure that I wanted to be in on they were selling off their assets, as many as they could. Believe it or not, the stock market had took half of their future contracts away from them. It was a worldwide type of construction company. And when you have the bottom scraped out of a company, you have to quickly respond to it, or your whole corporation will fall. And they were busy doing that. The matter of fact, I think it was between the U.S. and Mexico and Spain, they had at least 15 companies, and they were going to shorten them all the way down. And in the U.S. here, the only thing they would have is the umbrella left in this part of the world, if you will. One of the guys in the same company I was in, he decided to, he took a position in the Caribbean for him, which would have been ideal. It would have been a nice one. But, there wasn't a whole lot of other ones that were going to be left. And decided a career change was in order. I needed a little vacation anyway. So the wife and I took a year off. And following most of that year, I took a project on out in New York, and when that project, I had told them how long I was willing to stay. I didn't take a permanent position, by the way. And when the time was up, they talked me into a few more months, and I did that. I wasn't really looking forward to it, but we come back, and we'd had this little place on a lake that we wanted to spend our time for part of that year. We ended up, we were able to enjoy this cabin anyway. Our children were gone by then, and I had a couple of boats on the lake up there, and we were able to get out and fish any time of the day and night that we wanted to. Sometimes we'd ski a little bit. I was in my 40s at that time, so physically I could still do all the things you do when you're young. For us, we were more like teenagers. Our children had recently left and did their thing. They're starting their own families, so we had a lot of free time, and we took advantage of it. We loved it. Matter of fact, we grew closer than we'd ever been during that period of our life. When most people, you always have this emptiness in your heart that when your children leave home and go out on their own. And you have sleepless nights worrying about them and stuff like that. But we redid our lifestyle. And we had some fun doing it. And I went to work for multiple companies over the next 10 years or so. And then in my early 50s, I went to work for a company that I worked for them until I retired. They were really a good company. They were a very large construction firm. We were able to put enough money away for our retirement and make it comfortable. And this article that I'd seen on the boob tube, it said there's certain essential things you needed to get up in the 70s and 80s. And the life partner being one, and station life, what you're happy with. And religion helps considerably. It's a way to ease some of the problems you might feel. I'm trying to think just a bit. Boy, sometimes. Excuse me. Oh, there, a lot better. This particular article that I was looking at on there was, it just had a lot of things. One is diet, not going on a diet, but what you eat makes a difference too. And I believe in all that. My wife watches our food intake and the food we eat. She's very, very good cook, by the way. And part of my tummy is because she's such a good cook, I have a hard time getting away from the table. You get to the point where I had a hard time getting up next to it. Oh, that's a joke, obviously. Anyway, and I do enjoy it. I don't know if she's had any thing that I couldn't eat. I really don't. That we were joking today. There was one time where I had a hard time eating this bowl of chili, but we bought some of this extremely hot sauce, and I always like to put hot sauce in different things. Well, this time we had this. It was extra hot sriracha sauce, and I squeezed the bottle like you would a ketchup bottle, and my wife's eyes got that bigger out. She said, "Do you know what you're doing?" I said, "Don't worry about it. I could eat this. This is nothing." I stirred it up good. It was chili, and then she'd already put there was jalapeno flakes in their jalapenos and plenty of chili flakes itself. So it was already warm. And I took that first bite, and my eyes started watering, and my face started getting red. And I knew I'd made a mistake there. And I always drink milk with my meals, so I drank a pretty good amount of that glass. She got a laugh out of it, and I did too. I did finish eating it. As you take more bites, it gets less potent to you. But you taste other things less too. So when I finished the bowl, I'd made sure that I'd never make that mistake again, and I haven't since. And every once in a while it comes up. Like today, it came up. We had cornbread and beans and with ham and the beans there. Oh, and it is great. It's all homemade, obviously. My wife does most of the things are homemade. And it's another one of the meals that I love. It comes from clear back in the childhood. Anyway, to get back to that subject of the 70s and 80s living in, and I'm talking about 1970s and 1980s. I'm talking about living your own years, being able to get to that age. But it seems like we hit just about everything there that was what it took to get there. Now we have pets that help keep us young and keep us going. They're first thing in the morning and last thing at night. There's our pup and our cat, and they both want our attention. And they're good, loving pets. They love life just like we do, and they look forward to everything. They understand when we talk about something, their ears will perk up, but certain words, whether it's going outside or talking about something to eat or going someplace, or all those key words that all pets can pick up on, things that they're interested in. Also, having hobbies was one of them, and we both have our hobbies. My wife is very good at different things, including like knitting and crocheting, stuff like that, painting. There's just a lot of things that she's done over the years that have always been able to keep her busy. And she learned about computer late in life, just like I did. And every day she'll get on there and do some things, and she likes to play some of the games on there. And I know people our age, you probably think, what the world would they be? I'm not a game player. Okay. I just don't, I'm not interested in it. I got too many other things I want to do. Mine are motors, cars, things like that, motorcycles. I love stuff like that. And I do most of the work myself on the vehicles. If they break down, it's usually me. Pretty soon, you'll see, I've got a Lincoln MKX. I've got to put some brakes on the rear of it, and it'll be in here pretty soon. So it's one of those, matter of fact, that we bought it to pull behind the motorhome, and I don't know why, but the brakes have not held up on it like it should have. I don't know what the deal is. I think they got hung up. I had one hang up on the left front one day. We were going down the road, and I heard a loud noise back there, and the shoes had come loose, and they spun, or the pads rather, and it did some damage up there in that wheel. Luckily, we were able to. Well, we ended up fixing that. I don't know why it did that, and they were the originals. The car wasn't very old when that happened. But I have had trouble with the brakes over the years, and also the hub bearings in the rear. I've had to replace them 3 different times since we owned the car. They seem to be okay right now, but I don't know if it's a weak point or what's causing it. I noticed that in all the literature I've looked at, it seems to be a weak point in that car. So, well. Anyway, I'd like to say that word. Getting into that ripe old age, when you get here, you don't necessarily know you're there. You realize the benefits of it. And some of you that are in your young age, you wonder, well, what are the benefits? Well, there's less stress in most instances if your health is halfway decent. And like I say, if you have a life partner, my wife, I'm so lucky that she put up with me for all these years and still here, and very active and pretty healthy for being 80 years old. Or, well, she's not 80. She's if I tell you her age, she'll be upset. But she's very close to mine. And we're just barely a year apart. So. The years have actually been kind to us. We enjoy ourselves. We enjoy each other, and that's the big thing. When you get our age, and the worries and stress of whether it be financial or sickness in the family, your children, the schedules eat you alive. Having to make sure you get to a certain place at a certain time. I don't, like, for me, I leave my billfold and telephone and all that on a shelf. And the only time I pick them up is if we're going somewhere. I detest being hooked to something like that. I just don't like it. I didn't like it when I worked, and I like it less in retirement. So I very seldom have a phone on me. It's not that I don't check it, because I'll check it once a day, maybe. My wife will check it more often than I do. And we both have our own separate phones. But we rely on here. Obviously, we get emails. Some of the business we transact on the computer. We keep ourselves busy. This place, my biggest thing with it was going to be my hobbies. And classic cars were my hobby when I retired. And I've got to work on multiple cars in here over the years. And I used to always keep 2 in here, by the way. And having had at least 300 classic cars in my lifetime. Worked on them, sold them, collected them, did all kinds of stuff. If I would have kept every one I had, I would be a multi-millionaire. Some of them were worth quite a bit. And, when you're buying and selling them, your money is reinvested in the next one and plus. Because if you do a good job of rebuilding a classic car, the biggest share of the time you'll lose rather than gain money. Especially when you fix it to your own liking. You have the tendency to overspend. If you do it for a living, you take too many shortcuts. And I've never even thought about doing it for a living. Kind of like this thing. I don't do this for a living. I'd make no money on it. Don't even care. I just do it because it's fun. That's it. Let's see. I can't think of anything else really to keep you going until you get to this ripe old age. Some of you out there that watch that are near my age, you pretty much know what I'm talking about in retirement and having fun, and the stress of getting there is gone. You relax. You get rid of the things that bothered you. You find new horizons, because by the time you get to my age of 80, you have learned enough about life that you've got rid of those things that were not necessary for you. You just do it. You just boom. And it's a good station to be in. If I want to get up and go somewhere, I can do it. And so can my wife. A lot of times we do pre-plan the things that we're going to do, even grocery shopping. We'll discuss it. One of our favorite times, just give you an idea. We found out a long time ago, we do the separate dishes together. Now, we have a dishwasher, by the way. But when it seems like and I know that it's a chore doing dishes by hand, okay? And we do put most of the dishes in the dishwasher, but we've got things that are better off done by hand, whether even pots and pans and things like that. And we can sit there and talk to each other while usually she'll wash them and I'll dry them. It's a relaxing time for both of us where we can talk, and we're talking about things we may have done that day or what we'd like to do or something we've already done. It's a time set aside for just her and I together. And I think it's important for everybody that has a partner to have some time during the day where you can just relax. You're not cooking, you're not sitting there just eating. I know when you eat and talk. With me, when I'm eating, I like to eat. And when I'm done, I'm done. But when we're doing dishes, it's something we can do without thinking about what we're actually doing. We can think about other things we did in the day or that we wanted to do or will do. So what I'm telling you is pick a time of the day where you can sit down and relax without distractions. You'll love it, and you'll be so close when it's over with. That is my biggest thing of telling you how to make the day fruitful for you and your partner and to get into my age. Having a hobby that you love is a distraction that will make you live much longer. There again, it's something you can think about, plan it out, and complete it. So you have all the things it takes to keep you physically and mentally active. And they said that the mental activity is one of the things you need, as well as the physical. The physical is probably more important than anything, than, as far as keeping your body going. The mental part will come with your life partner, obviously, because when you're around them, you're thinking about what you're saying, doing, or what you will do. And if you love life in general, that's loving where you are in life. If you can look forward to good times rather than bad times, if you can keep from discussing the negative, rather think more about the good things, you're much better off. So I'm not going to go on anymore. I just giving you my thoughts on the whole thing and what I read this morning, or actually seen this morning. It's 20 minutes. It's kind of a long one here, so I want you to have a great weekend. Some of you may have your own little ways of getting up to the age you are. Hit the comments and tell me about it. Tell all of us about it that are here listening to each other. The negative stuff, you already know that I don't particularly care for negative things. Hopefully today there was nothing here that would be negative to you other than maybe the sneeze I had. So I apologize for that. There's times where I can't help it. There's some physical aspects that are natural that people are going to do and that catch you by surprise. With that, listen, I hope you have a great weekend. May the good Lord bless you, and hopefully I'll see you here soon. With that, goodbye.